Hello Year 10 Graphics. We are now going to be starting our next unit or project within our coursework. So far we've been doing lots of workshops. So typography has been our main theme currently. We're now going to be moving on to a film poster project. So I haven't told many of you about this, just to keep it interesting. So this project will likely continue until December of Year 11. Obviously, it's very uncertain as to when we're going back to school. If we're going back before September, it might be that this project finishes slightly earlier than that, but we'll keep this fluid and see where it takes us. Obviously, when you're at home, you need to be very independent and productive during this project because we're not going to have those teacher-led sessions. I'm going to do a little bit more of this audio just to help you out, and it just helps me teach the lesson a little bit better and make you understand a bit more rather than just reading a PowerPoint. So during the project, there will be a list of tasks that you'll need to complete. These could be kept digitally initially. That is perfectly fine. Particularly if you don't have access to a printer, don't worry. You can just keep it as a Word document or a PowerPoint, and then we can print it and present it when we get back to school. So I'm just going to remind you now about the assessment objectives. So we touched upon this at the start of the course. These are also on the board, on the wall next to my board, if you can remember those. So this is what your work is marked using. So far in our workshop-based tasks, we haven't hit all of these assessment objectives. So this main film poster project will hit all 4. And you only need one project in your GCSE coursework that does this. So, just a reminder, AO1. So this is your research into artists, into designers, and it could be styles or cultures of art. And it's also your market research. So that is where you look at existing graphic design. So for our film poster project, your market research will consist of looking at existing film posters. It's also your ability to develop ideas. AO2 is your experimentation with handmade and digital materials and techniques. AO3 is your use of drawing and photography. It's also all of your written annotations. And finally, AO4 is your final piece for a project. So far we haven't created a final outcome. So you are marked on how well you use all of your research into artists and how you experiment to resolve a final idea or outcome. Each of these assessment objectives form a quarter of your marks. They are out of 24 for a total of 96 marks. And that's the case for your coursework, that is out of 96. And then your exam, that is also out of 96. And just a reminder, we're working on our coursework, which is 60% of our grade, and our exam is 40%. So for your film poster project, the final aim for this is for you to eventually make a poster for a film of your choice. But for now, we don't want to be thinking about singular films. What I want you to do is choose a film genre, because what we want to do is keep this really broad and really open at this point, because the examiner is going to want to see a range of ideas, not just one singular concept that you're not going to go away from. You're showing a range of ideas. So your first task is to choose a film genre. So you might have a particular film or couple of films in mind. You need to think, which genre do those films categorise into? Which is the best fit? Some films may fall into several categories or genres. But think about which one do you want to work with? You also need to think about what can you photograph easily. Don't just choose a genre that you like watching. Think about how can you photograph things that link to that genre. Because that part of your AO3 is for you to take photographs that link to your theme. Think about what do you have access to? What are your hobbies? Where can you go? What pets do you have? What people do you know? What objects do you have that could potentially link to films? Think about the visual elements of a film. What happens in a particular film, and can you photograph things? Because you won't be able to just use internet images for this. You'll be expected to create your own imagery. Obviously, we don't have actors to photograph either. So how can you dress somebody up to look like a certain character? How can you use photography to influence that? That's going to obviously be very important when you choose your genre of your film. Obviously, you want this project to be interesting and fun as well, because you're going to be exploring it visually. Obviously, there's hundreds of films and several genres to choose from. So just think about what category works best for you. On the right-hand side, we've got the genres. There's also some links for you to read about the genres. I try to categorise them into similar ones, rather than just doing action as one, adventure as another. I tried to think, how can we keep this broad and link different genres together? I don't want you to change this list, I want you to choose one from it. And obviously contact me if you don't know what genre to choose or which genre could fit a particular film. So, the genres you have to choose from. We've got action and adventure, we've got science fiction and fantasy, we've got romance and drama, we've got comedy, we've got thriller and horror, and we've got crime and mystery. So, once you've chosen your genre, your first task is to create a visual brainstorm. So a visual brainstorm should fill a double page within your sketchbook. As I said at the start, it might be this is just a PowerPoint or a Word document to begin with. So a visual brainstorm is a collection of images, words, and artist work that link to a particular theme or topic. In this case, it's your film genre. So it should show a wide range of ideas, not just one or two concepts or styles of work. So you need to keep this open and broad at this point to show a variety of ideas. So within your double page, you need your title. So this is your genre. So if you've chosen action and adventure, your title would be action and adventure. So somewhere on your page this needs to appear. You also need to include words and ideas that relate to your genre or your theme. So think about what could you use? Could you use a thesaurus to help you with this? It could be particular films. You might want to list their names, or words that come to mind, visual imagery that comes to mind that could link to that genre. And finally, you need images. So when students have done this in the past, they've filled the whole double page with loads of small little images. So I've said 20, but you might need a lot more than that. So these 20 images will be in different categories. So some of it will be market research. So existing film posters, tickets, t-shirts and other merchandise that links to a film or genre. It could be varieties of different artwork. So I don't just want to see film posters. I want to see illustration. I want to see photography, typography and other graphics that links to that genre. Something like Tim Burton, for example. Yes, we've got his films and his posters, but he also has the illustrations for those films. And that's just one particular artist. It could be the photography or the stills from the film, or other pieces of artwork that link to that theme. So you're thinking less about the film, more about the genre. So you want to show a range of concepts and ideas. And this should include artist names. So anything that you find, illustration, photography or other graphics, you want to choose people that you can find the names of and include their names within your page. I've also uploaded a video where I'm filming a visual brainstorm from a previous year, just to take you through it and give you some examples. Make sure you watch this to help you out. There's also some examples at the bottom of this slide, just to show you what kind of fig we're talking about. So this is a double page, either digital, or you might want to do it straight into your sketchbook. And this is going to be hitting our AO1 marks, where you're researching artists and styles. Just to give you a bit of a starting point, we've got some film poster designers that you're welcome to include in your page. I'd say include at least one of them. But of course, find your own. So we've got Sol Bass. So he's a film poster designer, or he was, who was prominent in the 1950s and 60s. So his is the Shining poster at the bottom. You should recognise some of his work when you Google him. We've got Ollie Moss, and we've got Gregor, and I'm not going to pronounce his surname, who are more modern artists or designers who create film posters. We've also got the style of Russian constructivism. So film posters were quite prominent at the time. So have a research of that. And just a general Google search on film poster designers. I've included one link with some more names. But I really want you to be independent and find your own people. Not just film poster designers, but general illustrators and photographers that could link to your genre. Right, make sure you watch the video where I'm going through the visual brainstorm, which I will attach on Show My Homework. You will have this PowerPoint on Show My Homework so that you can access all the links. And obviously you've got this to watch in your own time, watch again if you need the audio again. Please, please, please email me any questions and make sure you're regularly updating me, particularly with what genre that you've chosen at least. Because I'm obviously really interested to know what your thoughts are on this. Okay, some of you I still haven't heard from or had any work from, so please make sure that all comes in. Particularly if you haven't finished the typography work, make sure that's ongoing because we will need to resolve that and make sure that's finished. Okay, make sure I'm getting the work. Email any questions. Right, also let me know how you found this audio. Right, speak to you all soon. Bye.